Namaste and hip hop hooray. What's going on, boys and girls from across the world? mikeY Budd here, and today I want to take you guys through a quick half-hour hip opener flow if you guys are having tight hip issues. So let's go ahead and get started in child's pose with the knees apart and the toes together, stretching our hands forward and just melting the head down. Taking some slow inhales and some slow exhales. Two more breaths just like that. Really filling the belly up. Good, and then nice and easy, we're going to come onto all fours, tabletop position, hands and knees. Align your knees directly under the hips, hands directly under the shoulders. We'll do a few cat-cows here just to stretch the back. Big inhale, look up. Exhale, round the spine, look back. Good, let's keep going. Big inhale. And exhale. Good, one more. Feel the vertebrae changing as they come down. And then exhale, really rounding it out, backbone by backbone. Easy into a neutral spine. So the first thing we're going to do is bring our right leg out to the side, keeping the knee bent so it's almost like a dirty dog at the fire hydrant. You guys know how much I love that. Little visual right there. And we're just going to do some nice big knee circles here. This helps to build up some synovial fluid, which is kind of like WD-40 for your joints. Go ahead, reverse the direction. Hip mobility is super important in decreasing hip tightness, especially for runners or cyclists. We're always going one way. Good. Then you're going to really extend that right leg back. Bend the knee, and if it's possible, you can grab the foot. If it's not, just reach back, but keep that knee bent because, again, we're still getting some stretch to the hip flexor. If you do have a hold of it, or maybe a towel helps, grab a towel and just keep kicking back into it for 3, 2, reaching forward and back first, and then easy lower down, give it a good shake out, and then we'll start with the side lifts. So again, that left leg is going to come out to the side. We're trying not to cave down into our right side either too much. We want to stay even in the arms, and then do 3 circles round, and then the other direction. Good, reverse. Extend your leg back. Bend the knee. And either reach or grab a hold and pull. So even though I've got a hold of my leg, I'm still actively trying to get it higher and higher by kicking back into the hand. Take one more inhale. And then very easily letting it go down to the floor. Give it a good shake out. One hand and then the other. Straight into a downward facing dog. Curl your toes, bring your booty up and back. And just pedal out those hamstrings. Maybe rotate the fingers a little bit out too, just so they don't feel like they're all up in your ears. Good, stay on the right leg for a while. And then switch to the left. Awesome. Right leg goes up into the air. Try to get it as high as you can if you're just waking up or maybe you've been sitting all day. You're probably really tight right now, so just give it some time to open up. Take one more deep breath. Nice. And then you're going to step between the hands into a low lunge, dropping the back knee down. Hands onto the front thigh. And just double check that that back foot is going directly backwards instead of off to the left or right. So we want to think straight back ahead. Take the next minute here to just get deeper and deeper into our stretch. Thinking about our hip flexor. And really imagine it being stretched right now. With every sink deeper and deeper. more breaths. Very nice. Now we're going to walk our foot off to the side here and drop the hands inside for our runner's lunge. So now we're getting even deeper into the stretch. And again, we'll stay here for about another minute. So rather than flowing in today's tutorial for these tight hips, we're probably going to be taking more of a yin approach where we stay for a while on each side. So if you guys want to grab a sandwich or anything, I'm just playing. But this is definitely something to do. Maybe a little multitasking if you got a favorite show or something. Or if you don't mind staying in it, just, tune everything out. Enjoy the peace and the quiet. Okay, now from here, same idea as before when we were in tabletop. Or if you need a pillow, you could slide it under your back knee. You're going to bend the knee and try to reach it. Or if you're capable of grabbing it, grab a hold of it. But I want you guys to notice that I'm not on my kneecap, right? This would be me on my kneecap. Very, very dangerous. What I actually want to do is slant forward so that I'm at the base of my thigh, right on top of the knee. So if you guys can kind of see here in the camera too, I'm more on my thigh than I am actually on my knee. Let's stay here for 5, 4. Very nice. Go ahead, easy, lower it down. And then you're gently going to slide that leg back, easy into a child's pose. Knees together, or you could go knees apart like we did before. When you're ready, back into downward facing dog. The left leg goes up into the air. Feel that split. And then stepping through right between the hands, low lunge, hands onto the thigh. For about a minute here, again, just opening up the body. And one thing I do want to just clarify too is that sometimes we see aesthetically the whole back bend and going super deep. I'm not knocking it and I'm not saying that it can't be done. But if you guys are really looking to actually stretch not just your hip flexor, but up into your psoas too. So when I sink deeper here, I'm not only pulling into that hip flexor, but the idea of pushing my hip forward gets the psoas too, which is a very, very deep, deep muscle that doesn't get a lot of stretch to it. And that actually could be the culprit for not just tight hips, but for a lot of things. So if you guys are ever interested in that, I think I've mentioned it in a few videos before, but PSOAS, psoas, look it up. Let's take 3 more breaths. You could smile, you don't have to, I'm just saying, if you want to, makes it a little less awkward. Good. Take it into a runner's lunge. Stepping out to the side, and again, before we even grab our leg, let's just make sure that we're not on top of our kneecap. And again, take a little bit of observation and awareness here. How does this side feel compared to the other one? Tighter? Yeah, me too, bro, me too. Go ahead, grab your foot if you did on the other side. And again, just lean forward into it. Sometimes when we grab the foot, we tend to slide back a little bit, but notice that my front knee is not over the ankle anymore. I'm also falling behind. Now, the good things about these videos is that you can always work towards an improvement. You can always work towards a new challenge. Maybe the next time you try, you're down on your forearms. Not today, said mikeybud. Not for me, at least. But I would love to see a couple of you guys take care of that. Good, let's go 3 more breaths on the pull. Very nice. Gently let it go. Try not to let it flick like a rubber band. You're going to scoot your foot back on towards the center, and then we're going to turn all 10 toes to the right, taking a wide angle pose, and just grab opposite elbows while you're here. And sway a little side to side. Good. Shake the head left and right. Say nope. Up and down. Say yes. Easy hands to the floor. Start to take an easy lunge to your right side. So just an easy lunge. Good. Then back to the other side. Come back to the center. All 10 toes are going to turn towards the front, sliding your foot back into a downward dog. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Or you can put your knees apart like we did before. Good. From your downward facing dog, looking to the top, step or jump, forward bend. Halfway up and down. Again, come up halfway and down. Slowly rolling your body up, one backbone at a time. Head and the shoulders are the last thing up. We're just going to stand in mountain pose, catch our breath for a second. Good. Bending your left knee backwards. Left hand is going to grab a hold of the foot, and we're going to start to kick back into dancer's pose. So if you do have a wall or a chair that's handy here, you could always hold on to that. Starting to kick up, up, up. And again, we don't want to turn open. Try to get the belly button to face forward or maybe towards the ground. If you want to get really spiritual, you could do an Om sign out here. 3, 2, nice. Landing back into warrior 1. So we got a flat foot, feet are nice and wide, arms are high. Take a big inhale, lock the fingers behind you and look up. Humble warriors, bow down. Right shoulder on the inside of the right knee. Taking our smooth inhales and smooth exhales. Feeling good, feeling good. Good. Hands down. Turn the back toes forward. We're going to do another runner's lunge, but this time I want you to space out a little bit wider and then twist the right hand up. 5 breaths here. Excellent. Jumping into a squat, stepping your feet together. Try to get as deep as you can. Sitting on a block or a chair helps too. Just as long as we could get those adductor muscles to kind of stretch out, go a little bit wider than normal. 3, 2, shooting up to the sky. Hands to the heart, heels to your hips. Give a little shake out. Let some air out. Good. Then we're going to go ahead and bend the right knee backwards. Right hand's going to grab a hold from the inside for dancer. And again, we either start to kick or just pull, depending on your balance or where you feel comfortable. But remember, your objective today is really about opening up the hips, decreasing that tightness. Let's see if you could open up a little bit more without jolting to the side. 3, 2, warrior 1. We step back. Arms are high. Good. Lock the fingers behind you. Humble warriors, look up. And bow down. And then easy into the runner's lunge for the last time. Again, we want to get a little bit wider than we were before, adding that twist. Keep it for 3. Drop the hips a little lower, 2. And then easy comes down. Finally into another yoga squat, where we're here for just a little bit. 3, 2, hands down, feet back, plank. Lowering to your tummies, crocodile pose. Take a second to just breathe and let the tightness or whatever you were pulling kind of come back into play. And then we're going to do half frog poses. So first bend your right knee and then grab a hold with the right foot. Very similar to dancer pose, but I want you to see if you get top of your foot on your forearm and then try to slide down more and more until the toes are in your elbow. If it helps, using a towel again, maybe a t-shirt, but our objective is to try to get that heel as close to the butt as possible, while at the same time, I'm just exaggerating this, that left knee is kind of coming up, not because we're forcing it to come up, but because we're pulling onto the thigh. 3, 2, and release it. Change sides. Beautiful. A little more pull for 4, 3, 2, and easy. Let it go. Relax your head down in crocodile pose. And then we're gonna move into frog pose. So you guys got a couple choices with frog pose. You could either do one leg at a time, which I'll demonstrate it first. I'm gonna pull my mat up just so we can all see each other. You could either do one leg at the same time, or you could do both legs. You could either do one leg at a time, or you could do both legs at the same time. Now to demonstrate, what happens is we come from this sphinx-like position where we're lifting up our chest from our forearms, and you're gonna bring one knee up, or again, both knees up, to get it into 90 degrees. So instead of having your foot underneath your tailbone, you're gonna kick it out so it's lined up directly under your knee. Toes are pointing out. Now again, I'm demonstrating the single leg. And while we're here, it's almost like we're trying to turn to our right? If we have the left leg down, we're almost trying to turn to our right so that we feel the stretch pulling out, not just on our adductors, but it's really opening up the hips. And if you're capable of doing both legs at the same time, I don't want to stop you. Again, just make sure the alignment is proper. And then periodically, not only are you going to try to get your inner thighs to the floor, but you're going to be pushing back good. Keep pulling back a little bit more. This is tremendous help for goddess pose too, which is basically this standing up. If you're doing one leg at a time, I ask that you kindly switch over. More breaths. Excellent. Toes come together first. That's my recommendation. Then you start to walk your knees in. We'll come back. Easy child's pose. Head down. Slowly starting to bring yourself up. And then hero pose. So, hero really depends on your back, not just your hips. So if you're really, really tight here, be careful with that because it might be, it might be a little frightening for your back if you're starting to just jump into one pose right away. So we want to start by leaning back and pushing the hips up because again, the hip flexors, we're trying to open those up. Pushing up and staying here. Or again, if your back is okay with it, you can lower down all the way to your spine and stay here. But again, we're actively pushing the hips up just like in a bridge pose. Maybe the arms stretch back, maybe they're by your side. But in this moment, I want you to find peace, unity with your body and your breath, no pain. Remember guys, you can always use pillows or even a chair to lean up in case you are just starting out. This is ultimately an end goal. And there's nothing wrong with starting from the fundamentals. When you're ready, you're going to very carefully bring yourself up bit by bit. Let your back kind of just figure out what happened there. And then swing the legs out in front of you. Give it a little shake. Ooh, yeah. Awesome. Right knee's going to cross over the left knee. Give it a shoelace stretch here. So we're trying not to sit on our heel. And I know you guys might be able to see me here, but I'm going to turn sideways as well. But I have tight hips. Eventually, my goal is to get my knees aligned up with each other, right? But again, I'm not going to force anything. We never want to force anything in life or yoga. So without sitting on my foot, without forcing it, I'm just letting the glute and the hip flexor, I'm sorry, not the hip flexor, the hip socket get stretched out here. My earrings caught in my microphone. Take 3 inhales, 3 exhales. And then twist, left on top of the right, looking over the right shoulder. And then coming back, unwinding, unwrapping, give it a good shake out. I always like to kind of just let my legs open up for a second, breathe, and then change sides. Left crosses over right. And again, you'll probably notice that this side is even tighter than the other one. So eventually, yeah, I'll get those knees lined up, but right now, that's not important to me. Looks are not important to me. Yeah. It's really about the feeling, and I hope you guys feel that way, not just about yoga, but about everything, right? If the love could look right, but if it don't feel right. I saw a meme that made me really think, and I'm just talking you guys through the pain right now because I really hate this pose, but it's so good. But the meme I saw was that if it don't feel like 90s R&B, it ain't real. And that should be essentially what this, stretch feels like. It's like, of course, I'm not the biggest fan of those breakup R&B songs, but sometimes they just really soothe your soul and make you say, you know what? It's awesome that I could even go through this. I'm talking out my ass right now. But if you guys are R&B fans, listen to some old school stuff. Let it make you feel some type of way. Let's take our twist. Good, and then we're going to unwrap. Both legs are going to go out wide as possible. Now before we go down, let's just stay here. And again, let everything adjust. Kind of take its time. And with a big inhale up, you're going to reach for your toes. Pull them, keep them up, and then start to shift yourself forward. Take 2 inhales, 2 exhales. And then nice and easy, slowly roll up. Put the feet together, knees apart, butterfly, flap your wings. And then you're going to extend the legs out, reach high for the sky, and shift forward. Try to keep your shoulders out of the ears. And then very gently let go as you roll down to your back, 1 vertebrae at a time. Feet are going to go underneath the knees into a bridge pose. Pressing the hips up, locking the fingers underneath. You're going to shimmy the triceps under. And just keep pushing into those heels. Again, we want to think like when we're in hero, that there's almost like a lasso or a belt around our waist that's pulling us up anytime we start to drop. Let's get 2 deep breaths. Good. Slowly start to roll down, 1 backbone at a time. Dropping your knees side to side. Good, and then you're going to lift up your right foot, keep the knee bent at 90 degrees, and I want you to push both of your hands against it, trying to keep the thigh bone straight and your arm straight all on the same line. And then you're going to bring the shin outside of your hips. So again, we're going to the right here, almost like our thigh is internally rotating. I shouldn't say almost. Our thigh is internally rotating towards our belly button. Good. And then right ankle on top of the left knee. We pull behind the left knee. Taking a good amount of breathing here. Always conscious of where the breath is at. It's like sometimes, you know, when we lose our keys in our wallet, they have the tile things where you could just click and it makes a sound. That's what they should have for breathing. Anytime we lose our breath, just remind us where it's at. Nice and easy. You're going to lower the foot down. Start to walk the left foot off of the mat. Keep your right ankle on top of the left knee. We're going to twist by dropping both knees to the right and looking to the left. Just giving that hip some internal rotation. Because again, our goal here isn't to just crack the back or make the back feel good. It's really focusing on the hips today. Let's go ahead, switch. Lifting up the other foot. And again, pushing it. Pushing the thigh. We're going to start to internally rotate. So when I say internally, we're rotating inward towards the pelvis and the belly button. And then we're going to externally rotate so that our ankle ends up onto the knee. And then we'll pull behind that right knee for a bit. Figure fours are great stretches. And it's not that I don't like pigeon. I think pigeon is actually a beautiful pose. But just for the sake of our knees today, we're being a little kinder at the end. Because I feel like between hero poses, the low lunges, dancer, it can be a lot on your knees to go into pigeon as well on top of all that. So figure four is a little bit easier, but also a little bit more efficient in today's case. Take 2 more inhales, 2 more exhales. Good, then you're going to lower your foot down, hands behind the head, As you walk your right foot off to the side, both knees drop to the left, and that left ankle is helping you pull the knee down. Come back to your original position, unwrap, place one hand on top of each knee, and let's do the same knee circles that we did when we were in tabletop. Again, building up that WD-40, other direction. Awesome. Right leg crosses over the left, hands behind the head as we twist and look right, dropping the knees left. Come back and change sides, left over right knee, dropping the knees right, as we look left. And then come back to the center, unwrap and hug both knees in as tight as you can. Deep, deep breath. And then for Shavasana, we're going to plant the feet down flat, knees apart and out, easy into a butterfly Shavasana. So the heels don't have to be up super close to your groin. You could actually space them out so you look more like a diamond. But again, just take these moments here to appreciate that you took time to focus. You took time to just pay special TLC to a specific part of the body, a very vital part of the body. And appreciating it for its individuality and what it contributes to your body. Take the next moment to just breathe in that appreciation. Shavasana. Slowly start to reset your body, wiggling the fingers, planting your feet down flat, and then rolling off to your side. Take a seat whenever you feel ready. And just try to keep breathing as peaceful as possible. Deep inhales through the nose and out through the lips. 2 more like so. Bring the hands to your heart. Feeling the beat's strength since the very, very start. My friends, thank you so much for being here with me today. Always for your happiness and your health. Appreciate, respect, and always love yourself. Namaste. Friends, they say that we carry a lot of stress in our hips, and I hope you're feeling pretty stress-free right now considering what you just did for your hips. If there's anything else you need, please just throw a comment, like, share this with somebody you love, and I'll see you guys for the next workout.